requests, thank you very much, to rank MCU Phase 5 and 6. So let's do this! Even though it's very, very early on all of these projects, and there's still a lot about them we don't know, which could totally change our minds about them. But at this moment in time, these are my rankings. And be sure to play along down below in the comments with your own rankings for MCU Phase 5 and 6. All right, so I'm starting off with the 2 Avengers movies. That's right. I had such a good time with particularly Endgame. I'm excited to do it again. And that's why I put Avengers Secret Wars as number 1. I don't even like the Secret Wars comics, but I'm excited. I think this is going to be a big Avengers movie. I liked Endgame much better than Infinity War. I know, some of you are the exact opposite, but I'm all Endgame. I actually did not care for Infinity War that much except for the amazing ending. What a cliffhanger! But I thought that Endgame was just so fantastic, and I think this has the potential to duplicate that. It's going to be tons of action. I mean, it takes place on a place called Battle World, and I think this is a very good possibility. This is where the X-Men are going to enter the MCU. So I'm excited. I hope they don't mess it up. I really feel this has the potential to be as good and as big as Endgame, the biggest MCU movie to date, for all you haters who say it's not that good. All right, then second place, Avengers Kang Dynasty. This is runner-up because I'm still not quite sure how the storyline is going to go. Kang's stories are all over the place, just like Kang himself. But I do love Jonathan Majors. I thought he did a fantastic job in Loki, and I'm excited to see him front and center as the main villain. You know, in Quantumania, I hear he's more in the background. So I'm excited about this. Also, I have tremendous faith in Destin Daniel Cretton as the director because I liked Shang-Chi so much. And also, Avengers, Kang Dynasty. What a great name! I love it. All right, then, Loki Season 2. That's right, because Loki Season 1 was so good. I know some of you don't agree with me on that. It was good. If you liked Loki Season 1, you really liked Loki Season 1. And hey, again, it's the most watched Marvel Disney Plus show to date, so a lot of people liked it, you know, despite what some other people might try to claim. I thought the set photos that we've seen so far for Season 2 look so cool. They go to McDonald's. They're in swinging London. It's going to be so great. And I thought that the first season really felt like a movie, although I do feel very bad that Kate Herron isn't returning. I hope that doesn't hurt the show. It looks good so far from the on-set photos, but I thought that the original, Loki Season 1 was like the only MCU show. The first 3 were, I actually like the first 4, WandaVision through What If, but they really lived up to the hype. They were movie quality, particularly Loki, and they had big consequences, which I thought was important, which was great. So good. So Loki Season 2. All right, then, Captain America, New World Order. Now, a lot of people don't really realize that the reason Steve Rogers became so popular in the MCU is that Kevin Feige politicized the character. He made him represent the 99%. He was a man of the people. He even bordered on socialist, I feel, which is, a little bit how the 99% are these days. So I thought it was a really clever thing to do with the character. And it really sucked for Tony because it made him the 1%. And Tony's like, what? Everybody left me until you did this to Steve Rogers, darn it. All right. He's like, his friend killed my parents. How am I losing this argument? That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, that really did wonders for Steve Rogers. So it makes sense that they're working so hard to politicize Sam Wilson's story. And I thought they did it in a really interesting and captivating way in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which of course became Captain America and Winter Soldier. I'm excited to see them blow that conversation up to a movie. I still think the suit needs work. The suit didn't even look good in the comics. And I think that it's particularly when Sam Wilson's not in action, it's not great. But hopefully they'll fix it, and I do love the way Sam moves in it. They had some really great action sequences on the Disney Plus show. So imagine what they can do in a movie with Falcon in action. And when he became Captain America, when he threw the shield in there, it was a great combo. I thought it was really great. Then Thunderbolts, right? This is the DC fan in me because this is DC MCU. Will the MCU do DC better than Warner Brothers? So yes, this is the MCU's Suicide Squad. A lot of characters have some red in their ledger at this point, and I'm excited to see them try and get rid of it. They're going to see fan favorites here, wall to wall. I think you're going to see a lot of characters be able to choose some scenery and have fun. It's a movie of anti-heroes. Basically, sometimes bad guys. So I think that's going to be great. It's going to be grittier than the MCU has been able to be in the past. I'm pretty sure Hawkeye is going to be leading up the team, because he was feeling pretty bad about himself on his show. I think, and I'd love to see Bucky here. I think they have and Zemo and, Yelena and U.S. Agent and Julia Louis-Dreyfus running the whole thing. I mean, that sounds like a great movie. I can't wait for that. All right, then Agatha, Coven of Chaos. I'm hearing this is a very strong comedy, which makes sense because that's Catherine Hahn's wheelhouse. But what I'm really interested in here is this a backdoor sequel to WandaVision? Will Wanda show up? As I've been saying, how can you have a Coven of Chaos and Wanda ain't in it? Maybe their whole thing will be to revive Wanda after what happened at the end of Doctor Strange 2. I'm here for it. Maybe we'll finally get Enchantress in the mix after we thought that might be her, but it wasn't in WandaVision. And I just think it could be really great. I'm excited to have more about witchcraft and magic after WandaVision, and that was such a great show. I'm just excited to continue that story, hopefully. So I'm very excited about that. All right, now we're going to switch over to things I'm still excited about, but I'm obviously a little worried about them, or they'd be higher up on this list. All right, next, it pains me to put Secret Invasion so low, but I'm worried. It was one of my favorite comic book stories. I've talked about it at great length. I've built it up. I'm so excited when they first announced it. As soon as they said they were doing Skrulls, I was like, Secret Invasion is coming. But I'm worried they've watered it down. And where's the movie it's supposed to lead into? It's coming out really soon, and yet the next two Avengers are Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty. And, Captain Marvel 3, maybe it could lead into that, but when's that going to come out? I mean, this should have gone right into an Avengers level story for the full. This should have been like the Secret Invasion warm-up on the Disney Plus show, and then it should have gone into a big movie. But they're not doing that. So I love the story, but I'm just so worried that it's going to be too small in scope and basically wasted. I think Kevin Feige is burning through story awfully fast here, and I hope it's worth it. All right, next up, Blade. I'm still nervous about vampires in the MCU. I don't know about this. I love Mahershala Ali's casting. He wants it. He was like, I want an Oscar. What can I do with this? I know. I'm going to call up Kevin Feige and get myself a Marvel franchise. Good for Mahershala Ali. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, as I always say. I hope he chose wisely. I just need to know more about this project and how it's going to shape up. I'm hearing Werewolf by Night actually looks kind of cheap, so it makes me a little bit nervous for Blade. I'm just a little bit scared. And it seems like it's going to have Kit Harington in it, who is a huge jinx, it seems. So Mahershala Ali said, get him away from my movie. All right, next up, the Marvels. Brie Larson, she is just not connecting with the audience at large. She's just not able to get over this hurdle. I'm not sure what it is. I think that sometimes she's quite good in the role, and I would love to see Captain Marvel work because I think it's such a cool, powerful character. But I feel like this movie has a giant target on it for the toxic parts of the internet, and I don't think the movie is working hard enough to combat that. In fact, I feel like it's leaning into it. And I think I'm more concerned about the drama surrounding the movie than the movie itself. Like, is it going to be too silly? There's a whole musical planet. I mean, I'm excited the Khan family is returning because I love them so much from Ms. Marvel. But otherwise, I didn't like seeing Ms. Marvel have to go through the ringer like that. Why do I want to watch three characters that I like, two of them in particular, Monica and Kamala, just be put through the ringer? And it's not necessary. I think Marvel should be working harder to protect these characters and actors. Fantastic Four. You might be like, why is this so low? I need to know who's directing. I need to know who's starring. It could be great. It could be another AntMan and the Wasp, right? Which is becoming very much like Fantastic Four to the point where I feel like they're cannibalizing each other. There have already been 2 movie versions of the Fantastic Four. Thankfully, none of them were that good. So the Fantastic Four, the new ones, got that going for it. And they're not doing an origin story, which is good. We've all been like, where have they been? And I think we're all pretty sure they were in the quantum realm. That's where they've been all this time. They're tough characters to get right. They've really never been huge in the comics. I mean, I know they're Marvel's first family, but I don't know. Kevin Feige did wonders with the B team before, so maybe he can do that again. But I think that, it's not like, this isn't like the X-Men. But I mean, at the same time, maybe that means they bring less baggage with them. Maybe that's why they're going first. I mean, in the comics, they've already moved on to their kids, Valeria and Franklin. So, and I'm upset that Franklin somehow was blonde and then now he's not blonde. I'm like, have some consistency, artists. All right, then Daredevil Born Again. Why is this so low? Well, Netflix dug so deep in its multiple seasons. I wonder what story is really left for them to cover. Like, they're doing Born Again, but I feel they covered a lot of the points of that story already in the Netflix run. And 18 episodes? Oh boy, that could either be fantastic or awful. Can the MCU do the dark and gritty story that's needed? I'm very nervous about that after we saw what they did to Kingpin and Hawkeye. That was like shockingly bad. That was shockingly bad. But I'm just glad Charlie Cox is back, so I'm excited about that. Then Ironheart. This character also has had problems catching on. Not really connected. I thought the first look at the suit while filming for this show, not promising. It's the early version. She should graduate hopefully very soon to a sleeker, better look. But, let's see. We're going to see her in action, and we're going to be introduced to this character, Riri Williams in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So I have my fingers crossed. Again, I don't like to see characters go through the ringer, and sometimes I get frustrated when I don't see the studio doing more to put them on their best footing. Then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think this has taken a very long time, which I think hurts it a little bit. And, they were disrespected in Thor 4 with most of their scenes on the cutting room floor. I came to really like Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked the second movie, although I know a number of you did not. And I felt like the Russo brothers did a really good job with the characters in Infinity War in particular. Although we all saw how annoying Peter Quill was in Infinity War, but Nebula, what was done with her in Endgame was stunning. And Rocket Raccoon, that was great stuff. Very, very good. So, and I just recently watched the I Am Groot shorts, and that was fun. And they have a new ride that everybody's really enjoying at Epcot. But it's been a long time. It's been a long time, and I wonder if this team has overstayed their welcome. They have one more run, and then, word is that they're going to get a significant overhaul as James Gunn steps off, and someone else, obviously, I guess, maybe take over if they could decide to continue with it, but it'll have a new roster. Some of the members will stay, some won't. I think Chris Pratt is still a little divisive, to be honest with you, and I think he's leaning into it for some inexplicable reason. Like at first he tried to defend himself, and now he's like leaning into it. And you're like, why would you do that? Actors want to avoid drama because it cuts down on their appeal and their audiences. And then also, I think it's going to be really silly, and I think Thor: Love and Thunder is a wake-up call to the MCU that fans kind of don't want to get that silly with these movies. Then Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Hard to be excited after the first two movies. I already fell for that with the second one. The trailers were so good, and they had all the good parts of the movie in them, and then the movie was a huge letdown, and I was like, darn it! So I'm not going to get excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than bitterly disappointed. Again, I hear this is super silly, like MODOK. I heard that MODOK was that MODOK fan art that leaked that was supposed to be pretty accurate. I heard it was. And I've heard there's a little point to the movies as well, unless it has that end credit scene with the Fantastic Four, which I haven't heard anything about, but I think it's the only thing that could potentially save this movie. Because I hear it doesn't have enough Kang in it to really make it worth everyone's while. And then I'm sorry to say that last is Echo, because why not just move up Daredevil Born Again? Why take this stop and delay that series to do an Echo show, which is basically to be a backdoor Daredevil show? That's not fair to Echo. And I think, I think it's going to be a small in scope, low budget show. And I just feel like people are going to be like, I think everyone's going to say, why don't we just do Daredevil right away? And that sucks for Echo and the actress playing her. And again, another theme of studios taking better care of the characters and the actors who play them. All right, so that's my ranking of the MCU Phase 5 and 6 projects, ridiculously far in advance. So I'm sure that my feelings on these will change up as we get more information. But as of right now, that's what I'm excited about and a little nervous about. Share your own thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.